Well, the Lord instructed me this morning to read the book of Haggai. I don't read the book of Haggai very often. Maybe I should. It's only 2 chapters. It's not very long and it's very easy to read the whole thing. Just to put things so that you know the setting, what's going on here. Haggai was written during the time when the temple was supposed to be rebuilt in Jerusalem. And I say supposed to be because the people had gone back to Jerusalem. They had built their own houses and they were living there, but they had a problem. In verse 6 of chapter 1, it says, "You've sown much, you bring in little. You eat, don't have enough. You drink, you're not filled. You're clothed, but you're not warm. You earn wages, it's like there's a hole in the bag. And then you can't keep up with your money." So what does Haggai say? Twice, in verse 5 and in verse 7, he says, consider your ways. Are some of you having the same problems that they were having back then? Are you a farmer and you're planting a lot and not getting much of a harvest? Or maybe you're not a farmer and you're planting a little bit of seed in as we say in Christian circles, planting in the church to bring in more souls. You plant your money, but you're not getting a harvest. Maybe you're planting the wrong thing in the wrong place. Twice he says, consider your ways. Maybe that's what we need to do. Are we having problems in our lives? Maybe we need to consider our ways. Maybe we're not doing what God told us to do. Sometimes God tells you to do something and you say, oh, that sounds like a good idea, but then you don't do it. Or God tells you to do something and you say, I don't want to do that. That's not me. God didn't ask his people, do you want to build my house? He said, build my house. And when they finally got around to doing what God told them to do, then God blessed it, and God blessed them. So I want to encourage you today, if God's told you to do something and you haven't done it and things aren't going so well in your life, go back to what God told you to do, repent. I use that word a lot, don't I? I'm always telling you to repent of things that you've done that you shouldn't have done. But here I'm asking you to repent of not doing something you should have done. Sometimes it's as easy as telling somebody, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for what I did to you. Not, I'm sorry if I hurt you. Not, I apologize if. When you apologize to somebody, it's not, I apologize if I did something to hurt you. That's not an apology. An apology is, I apologize for hurting you. I apologize for what I did. I take responsibility. Not if I hurt you, because I hurt you. Because a lot of times when we need to apologize to somebody, it's not because we necessarily feel like we did anything. It's because they feel like we did something. Sometimes we don't even know what we're apologizing for. We know we've hurt them, but we don't know what we did. I've been in that situation. And the thing to do is to go to that person and say, I apologize. I hurt you. Maybe I don't know what I did to hurt you, but if you'll tell me, then I will endeavor not to do it anymore because I don't want to hurt you. It's hard to go to somebody and apologize, but it's the right thing to do. And I don't know how I got on that rabbit trail. That's not even what Haggai is talking about, except he's saying to consider your ways. And sometimes that's the way we need to consider. I mean, we might need to consider that we're not giving to the building of his kingdom. We're not giving to the building of his church. Consider your ways, all your ways, not just a little bit. Consider all your ways. Go before God and ask him, God, what do I need to do? What do you want me to do? And then when he speaks to your heart and tells you, then do it. And you say, well, I can't hear from God. I don't know how to hear from God. Well, there's a lot of ways God speaks to us. He speaks to us through his word. He speaks to us through friends sometimes. He speaks to us through our pastors. Sometimes it's that still small voice in our own heart where he speaks to us. We just need to listen and be attentive to him. Like this morning, I'm like, well, God, I'm not sure where you want me to read in your word today. And I heard in my spirit, read the book of Haggai. I knew that had to come from God because I would never think to do that. Many years ago, I was watching a graduation ceremony for a Bible college. And as I was sitting there watching these people graduate, I heard in my spirit, wow, it sure would be interesting to study Old Testament survey. And I'm like, oh, that wasn't me. Because years before that, I knew a person who taught Old Testament survey, and I was not interested. But that was God's way of telling me I needed to go to that Bible college. And so I did. It was a 2-year program, and it wasn't accredited, so I don't claim to have a 2-year degree in Bible college. But I did do 2 years in Bible college, and I did pass. Okay, I aced it. I made all A's. That's just who I am. And I enjoyed Old Testament survey and New Testament survey and learning about healing and all the things that we learned in Bible college. And I guess I'm saying that if God's calling you to go to Bible college, go to Bible college. If God's calling you to be a carpenter, be the best carpenter you can be. If God's calling you to study plumbing, go be a good plumber. If God's calling you to be an electrician, be an excellent electrician. Because if you're not, you could die. Electrocution, you know. If God's calling you to be a doctor or a lawyer or whatever God's calling you to do or be, do it. Because like it says in the book of Haggai, consider your ways. Consider your ways.